Welcome to a Farming Simulator 19 map tour with me, Mr. Sealy P. We are on Rogue River. This is a new logging map by Catalyzer Gaming and FDR Logging. FDR Logging, we haven't seen anything from them for a little while. Catalyzer Gaming, I am wondering off the top of my head, is that anything to do with Mirathis Catalyst, who's been linked with FDR Logging for a while? Possibly, maybe not, don't know. But what are we looking at? Well, this is a logging map. There is no two ways about it. It's a logging map. Unlike Grizzly Mountain, this is not going to be a map that you can carve out a homestead into, because the terrain will just, you will not be able to put fields on this or anything. And if you were going to do animals, I honestly don't know how you would manage it. But we start, interestingly, all the way down here in the southwest corner of the map, so not in the middle or anything like that. Now if you look at the map, as you can tell, it's rugged terrain. This is not for the faint of heart. If you love your logging, you're going to love this map. If you play it on multiplayer, you're going to love it even more. I was kind of thinking in my head, how would you kind of do it? And I suppose you could have a daily, you pick one of these points, one of these logging points, and that's your base of operations for the day, and you log out of that one, or you've got to achieve a certain amount of, of lumber or value or whatever, in a day's operation. This is your Rogue River running right the way across the map, east west, west east, whichever way you want to look at it. There are a few crossing points along it, but not many, and as you'll see, the routes out and back, the logging trails are not, there's not a circuit route, so this is not an easy drive out, round and back again. You drive out to a logging point and then you drive all the way back again. That's how it works. As far as sell points goes, you've got one, the sawmill. That's it. No silos because you don't need them, which makes life so much easier. No contracts because there aren't any. So what do we start with? I'm on new farmer mode and we start with a pickup. That's it. Don't even have a chainsaw. We've got a little log cabin just here, but this is not through a sleep. This is not a sleep through the night mod. So you might want to, I don't know, stick a couple of deck chairs down here maybe, or something like that. So if we have a quick look in here, under garage, we've got our pickup, and that's it. But we do have, under leased items, a Komatsu 931XC and a Komatsu 875. They are both leased. Starting slot count on new farmer is 213 of 1299, which is really, really low, but then you haven't really got anything else. If you come onto this on farm manager mode, you still have the pickup, but you don't have these two on loan, which brings the slot count all the way down to 164 out of 1299. Logging equipment can be pretty heavy on the slot count. Excuse me. So, as far as the map goes with pricing, like I say, we start with this bit here. The cabin we own is up here, but we don't actually own the land it's on. This is the bit of land we kind of start with the sawmill, the store, and the fuel station. And prices for areas aren't too bad, really. 204,000. They're big bits of land with huge amounts of trees on them. So when you're spending 345 grand on a plot, you're going to make that back probably tenfold easily on each plot of land. And there are a lot of plots to choose from. Like I say, not too expensive actually. Not too bad at all. So what we're going to do, jump in our pickup, head down to the store. Now, like I say, this is a challenge. This is a challenging map. If you've not done a logging map before, this is it's not hard. It's an interesting one to jump in on. Like I say, the terrain is mountainous. You've got gorges and ravines and mountain tops, and it's steep. It's hard to traverse. The tracks and pathways are pretty wide, so if you're getting larger machinery through, isn't too bad. And the trees are densely packed. Like I say, when you start clearing them, you'll be making money. Whoops. Hills are steep. So again, you're going to have that issue that unless you've got some high horsepower equipment, either forwarders or if you're bringing lorries in here with trailers, you've got a lot of steep gradients to contend with. I do like this little bit here where it's kind of encroached onto the track. Very cool. And we shall be at the main sell point momentarily, which is just here. So we've got our sell point, our repair configuration sell point for the store is just there, and then we've got our actual store. It's nothing, you know, you kind of get the feeling this is kind of Alaskan, you know, right out in the frontiers, and this is all there is, you know, this is the main town, if you like. But that's your store. Cash point should you need it. Our 2 leased pieces of machinery are sitting right there, ready for a hard day's work. Then we've got our sawmill. So there's your lumber sell point just there. You can put it onto that belt system if you want to. If you look at where the hazard marks are, they are between here and all the way out here. So you could put them down on here, but if you wanted to, you know, if you want to go for that kind of realism thing, put them onto the belts, you can do, and that's where you actually click on it to sell your lumber. And then around the corner we've got our wood chip sell point if you'd rather wood chip everything than bring lumber back. Now, as far as the map goes, I don't want to say it's pretty samey. It's trees, of course it's going to be, you know, there are a lot of trees on here, but the landscape shifts and changes quite dramatically as you go around it. Like I say, there are several crossing points across the Rogue River, which is one of them is right here. We've got a track that leads off that way, and like I said before, we're now sitting here, so to get off to various different logging points, you know, keeping a check on the map's going to be pretty crucial, because there's lots of splits and turns and, you know, where they will go off. So where I am now, I could go right and go all the way up here to 2 and 3. I could go right and I could go all the way out here and then come up to 4 and 5, or I can carry right the way along, or I can go north of the river out to 1, and then we've got more over there. So I'm going to show you the floodplain one first. And this is the kind of coastal region, wetlands, you know, swamp logging type situation, which adds another challenge, you know, to the whole situation. So you've got a lot of dead standing here, all in this swampy, wet, boggy terrain, which I think would make it rather interesting. Splashing around. Whoa. Don't want to go too deep. So yeah, I just think, you know, if you want to kind of immerse yourself in the whole situation, obviously you can reset vehicles if you get stuck. If you reset, it takes it back to where the leased vehicles were on that forecourt in front of the shop. So heading away from here, we're going to go follow the north bank of the river to start off with, and what I'll probably do is I'll jump to a couple of the logging points. I mean, realistically, you can log from anywhere. You don't have to go to the logging point to do the logging, but it kind of gives you a focus point. Like I say, if you are going to do it multiplayer or something like that, and you might want to say, you know, you go out and do logging around point whatever, rather than just saying go into the woods. Go to the woods and do some logging. Forest. So, North Bank. It's very nicely made, very nicely laid out, plenty of lush greenery, the mixture between rocky outcrops and kind of almost like scree slopes. The trees all vary in heights and sizes and that kind of thing. But then I do like you've got these little, almost like valleys, let's say ravines, gorges, all kind of spreading off in different directions, which all present various different challenges whilst you're doing your logging. If we keep going, we should get to a point in a minute somewhere over this bridge. down to the second of our crossing points. And I'm going to head up to this one here. No particular reason, just because, you know, just because. I'm not going to go all the way up, but just to give you that feel, you know, like this kind of ravine edge canyon type feel. You've got to be careful when you're bringing machinery up, when you're bringing logs down on trailers, and it's not just all sweeping hillsides and that kind of thing. But anyway, that sweeps all the way up, keeps going. It's, I don't know. I don't do logging maps as a rule, and on maps where there is logging I will do certain amounts of it. But I have been very drawn to, probably in my own time, I probably wouldn't do a let's play on one, because people do like forestry and they do like an episode or two of forestry, but I think if you did an entire let's play on forestry, I don't know, maybe people would be interested. I don't know. The logging fraternity might be interested. So what I'm going to do now is head across to the south bank and follow the south bank in the shade. We come to this point here where we've got, it looks like a confluence of rivers, but it's not. It's actually the same river, the Rogue River, that runs and sweeps around, but you've got a couple of crossing points here, and then here where you've got this canyon kind of ravine heads off in this direction, you've got another one that just covers this little bit of river here. So you can imagine all the runoff from rainy season pouring down these canyons down into the main river. So I'm going to head up this one. No particular reason why, left or right, doesn't matter. Let's go this one. It's often difficult, like when you're doing this, for example this bit here, if I just stop from behind the pickup, fair enough, from in the pickup looking forward you can't really tell. So only when you turn sideways and you look at the angle of the trees relative to your position in the pickup, you suddenly realise how steep the hillsides are. It's yeah, I mean, like I say, transporting stuff may be trickier. Hopefully you would be going down the hills back towards the river when you're taking stuff back. But anyway, it's just to give you a bit of a feel for the map, what it looks like, what it feels like. It is packed, I mean jam-packed with trees. You're not going to have any problem at all. I apologise if you can hear squeaking in the background. That's Farm Dog playing with one of his toys. He's going to come down and do it now to annoy me. There you go. So this is one of the logging points we are at. Which logging point are we at? We've come all the way around. We're all up here at 12. So when you look at how far we've driven already, and the fact that you can go right the way out here, winding way out to 15, 16, 14 all the way down the bottom here. It's a cool map. Like I say, it's you know, the terrain is rugged, and obviously if you're not into logging, it's not going to interest you in the slightest. It's well put together. It's nicely made. Textures and detailing is very nice. Prices aren't too expensive for plots of land. It's going to be a challenge, which I'm sure some of you will absolutely accept. And that's it really. There's not more. Each of the logging points I could go to, you're going to have hillsides with trees and that kind of thing. I was kind of looking out earlier on for interesting features that kind of stood out. I know on Grizzly Mountain you had that pass you drove up where it dropped away and you had a little bridge you had to cross and that kind of thing. I haven't come across anything like that, but then potentially this map would be a bit of a, you know, go and search yourself and have a look around. But anyway, there you go, that's Rogue River. I hope you found it useful and informative in some way, shape or form. This is by Catalyzer Gaming and FDR Logging. If you have enjoyed it, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.